Continuing coverage tonight, Washington State and WSU are rolling out a new method to track every time law enforcement uses force. As we first told you yesterday, Spokane County Sheriff has some doubts. Tonight, KREM 2 Shannon Mowdy is taking a look at the new database. Shannon?
The WADEPS team at WSU is now onboarding around 300 law enforcement agencies statewide for the online data exchange. Its executive director says this will be a first of its kind in the country. From shootings to pepper spray or physical power, many police agencies already track how often they use force. But those numbers were often hard to track down, says David Macon.
People would ask the right questions, right? We didn't have any answers for them. We didn't have any data.
That's about to change. Washington's Data Exchange for Public Safety, WADEPS, will go live this fall, providing the public unprecedented access to use of force data for every police agency in the state. Macon's a WSU professor and WADEPS director.
So the whole goal of the system was to provide meaningful, reliable data that would tell the most accurate depiction of what use of force looks like across the state.
But all of that takes a lot of information.
It's actually demanding information that we don't collect right now.
Spokane County Sheriff John Knowles says the extra info for WADEPS may have to be tracked down and entered manually.
Here's the thing. Could we use another position to do this? Sure. Do we have the budget for it? Absolutely not.
Around 300 police agencies in Washington will be legally required to submit data starting in September. Sheriff Knowles says some concerns about the data use agreement have kept him from signing on for now.
The language that allows them to make wholesale changes to what data they're collecting, and there's no recourse for anybody, and they can do it unilaterally.
Macon says that provision's to allow the program to seamlessly adapt if the legislature wants changes.
If they decide that something should be changed, they amend the law. What we try to avoid is to have everyone re-sign the data use agreement.
If the sheriff's office doesn't agree or submit its data, Knowles says there are significant consequences.
It basically invalidates the sheriff's office from getting any state funding through this new legislation.
But he says the two sides, law enforcement and WADEPS, are still talking. He believes a compromise will be reached before the September deadline. Now, Macon says WADEPS won't just point out officers or agencies that use the most force. It'll also provide comparisons of agencies that don't use force in certain situations, and he says that will allow for more research, maybe even policy change. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.